Ever watch someone's career nosedive harder than a crypto coin right after a Logan Paul promo? That's James Corden in a nutshell. And we're not talking about a gentle fall from grace here. No, my guy got launched out of the stratosphere by a catapult made entirely out of his own ego. This is a man who went from hosting one of the biggest late-night shows in America to becoming such a universal eye roll that people were literally signing petitions to keep him out of movies he hadn't even been cast in. That level of public rejection, that's not just a fall, that's a full-blown free fall with style. And let's be real, the journey from, oh, he's charming and funny, to, for the love of all things holy, make it stop, has been more dramatic than an entire season of Grey's Anatomy squeezed into a single episode. But if we're going to truly appreciate the flaming wreckage of Corden's public image, we need to hit rewind and go back to a time when, hard as it may be to imagine, people actually liked this dude. Back in the UK, he co-created and starred in Gavin Stacey, a show that was basically Britain's TV equivalent of mashed potatoes. Comforting, warm, and beloved. He won awards. People cheered. He had that underdog, relatable charm, like the funny guy at the pub who made it big through talent and perseverance. But then came the twist. And oh, what a twist it was. Success didn't just knock on James Corden's door, it kicked it in, raided his fridge, and inflated his ego to Goodyear blimp proportions. Suddenly, he wasn't the lovable everyman anymore. He was the guy sucking all the air out of the room. His own family and friends had to stage interventions. Interventions as in, hey mate, you're becoming insufferable and we need to talk. Rob Brydon, his own co-star, called him out for being a brat. That's not Hollywood gossip, that's straight-up character development in a villain origin story. And it gets darker. Corden eventually admitted that he needed therapy, not because the fame was too much, but because he realized he was, in his own words, no longer a decent human being. Imagine having to go to therapy because you became so unlikable. The man literally looked in the mirror one day and thought, damn, I miss the old me. So buckle up, because this isn't just a tale of a star falling. This is a masterclass in how to take charm, talent, and public goodwill and burn it all down in record time. And when your own mom tells you to get your act together, you know the plot's not just lost, it's been set on fire and launched into space. The first major red flag, that glorious train wreck at the 2010 Glamour Awards when Corden had a public meltdown with Sir Patrick Stewart. And no, this wasn't some mild exchange of words. This was a full-on tantrum where he told a literal acting legend to just get on with it and crack jokes about him dying. The audacity wasn't just off the charts, it invented a whole new scale of cringe. Watching it unfold felt like witnessing someone pick a fight with their grandfather over turkey at Christmas dinner, awkward, unnecessary, and weirdly aggressive. And yet, somehow, Corden bounced back. He pulled off the impossible and landed the Late Late Show in America. And for a while, it actually kind of worked. Carpool Karaoke became a global hit, his episode with Adele exploded as YouTube's #1 viral video of 2016, and celebrities were basically queuing up to sing in his passenger seat. It seemed like he'd finally figured out how to harness his manic energy for something people genuinely enjoyed. He was everywhere, hosting the Grammys, the Tonys, popping up in films, basically becoming Britain's loudest export since Gordon Ramsay, just without the charm or the F-bombs. But then came plot twist number 2. Turns out the guy who clashed with Patrick Stewart never actually changed. The whole nice guy shtick. Yeah, it was just that, a carefully crafted act. And then, slowly but surely, the cracks started to show. The first big fracture hit in 2017 when the Harvey Weinstein scandal broke, and Corden, for some unhinged reason, thought it'd be a great idea to make jokes about it at a charity gala. Let that sink in. He literally joked about Weinstein inviting women to his hotel for massages. Because apparently nothing says edgy humor like mocking abuse victims. The backlash was instant and vicious. Rose McGowan obliterated him on Twitter. Even Anthony Bourdain stepped in. Corden had to apologize, but by then, the damage was done. People started looking at the cheerful late-night host and realizing the mask was slipping. Fast. The internet absolutely lost its mind. People accused him of everything from normalizing fascism to being the ultimate celebrity suck-up, just a professional schmoozer who'd cozy up to literally anyone for a good photo op. Corden actually thought kissing up to controversial political figures was a cute late-night host move. But oh no, The real tea started boiling over in 2019 when he did a Reddit AMA that backfired so catastrophically it should be studied in PR disaster training. What was meant to be a wholesome Q&A about carpool karaoke turned into a full-blown roast session, with top comments detailing horror stories about his behavior off camera. We're talking about accusations of him being flat-out rude to production crews, showing up to writers' meetings to argue for lower pay for late-night writers, and just generally being a nightmare when the red light wasn't on. One story that went viral claimed he ignored his wife and crying baby on a flight while she struggled to handle it all alone. Plot twist: the story wasn't even true. It wasn't his wife, it wasn't his kid. But the fact that people believed it so quickly tells you everything about the reputation he'd built. When your public image is so toxic that any random accusation sounds plausible, that's not just a bad look, that's reputation bankruptcy. And to make things worse, the joke-stealing allegations started stacking up too. Multiple comedians called him out, including Noel Fielding, who straight up tweeted, "Yes, I believe this is my material," when fans noticed some suspicious similarities. It's one thing to be labeled rude, it's another to be branded unoriginal. At this point, Corden wasn't just stumbling through controversies, he was collecting them like Pokemon cards. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. Corden was caught on air lifting a joke word for word from Ricky Gervais, the bit about posting irrelevant flyers in a town square. The punchline was identical to Gervais's 2018 routine. Gervais noticed, tweeted about it, then deleted it. But the internet doesn't forget, and neither did anyone watching. Corden had to crawl back with yet another apology, this time saying he inadvertently told someone else's joke. Sure, January. Then came the Spill Your Guts segment controversy, where Corden thought it would be hilarious to mock traditional Asian dishes by calling them disgusting and horrific. Because apparently, nothing says late-night comedy like insulting entire cultures' cuisines for cheap laughs. Classy. Corden eventually admitted to making a sarcastic, rude comment about cooking the omelet himself. But instead of just owning it, he spent most of the time defending why he didn't think he was really in the wrong. The whole thing reeked of that classic "sorry you were offended" energy, aka the most non-apology apology there is. And by that point, people were so over him, they were pre-canceling him from projects that didn't even exist yet. As The Independent put it best, slagging off Corden has become something of a national pastime. And honestly, with the way things were going, it wasn't hard to see why. Peace.